I'm Russ Morris, and today on the Simple Life Chat, we're dishing out something special with another resident takeover. I'm joined by Beth, who's mastered the art of food creation from her home. Today, we'll explore her journey into food blogging from the comfort of a Simple Life kitchen.
Clap my hands, turn around now and dance, dance, dance. I just wanna have fun, clap my hands.
So Beth, welcome to the Simple Life Chat and today's episode, the Simple Life Kitchen. Thank you for welcoming us into your lovely Simple Life home. It's beautiful, thank you.
No, thank you so much for coming. It's been great to get to meet you, and I'm excited to share the food that I've made with you today.
I'm so excited for this episode, I won't lie. At the moment, we've got a beautiful breakfast laid out in front of us. We'll talk more about the dish in a moment, but first let's talk about you, Beth. Talk about how you became a food blogger. That's right, isn't it? Is that your title, would you say?
Yeah, sort of accidentally, I guess. It all started a few years ago where myself and my girlfriend were sort of long distance at the time, and lockdown was coming up, but we both share a love for food. So we started sending each other sandwiches that we were making at home and decided to just put a page together on Instagram. So we decided on a name which was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Which...
See what you've done there, very clever. That's Buffett the Vampire Slayer.
Did actually think about changing it early on, but we thought, nah, people seem to like it, so we kept it. And then we didn't really set out exactly, what we wanted to do with it, but it just grew from the beginning. We ended up then moving in together and cooking together, and we just make experimental food, mostly fusion, so it's combining different cuisines together, but all experimental. We're very much amateurs at this, but it's just fun and creative.
Seeing your Instagram page and seeing what's in front of us, it certainly doesn't look amateur. This looks like if this was served up in a restaurant, you'd be like, wow.
Oh,
you'd be happy. You'd be elated.
No, thank you very much. I mean, part of me would love to absolutely go right into the industry and become a professional chef. I feel like I've learned quite a lot from home cooking. I used to be absolutely terrible. I feel like from cooking at home, it's helped to grow the skills, but I guess still quite critical.
Yeah. So how did your love of food take off then? Because where did it start? If you weren't into cooking and food, what changed?
It started when I was very young. I think, I used to swim competitively, so I'd naturally want to eat loads anyway. I just always had a love for it. It really came from the family. My uncle in particular is an absolutely incredible cook. Won't call himself one, but he very much is. He's even got his own cookbook that's all on loads of scrap pieces of paper, but it is a proper wedge of a file. And I just loved it from being a kid, seeing him cooking. It was always a social thing growing up. He'll be cooking in the kitchen, and we'll all be having a few drinks, obviously not me drinking as a kid, but it would just be very sociable, everyone getting together, and it just brings people together. And
that's the thing, there's so many different levels with cooking food, because I do really enjoy cooking. Like, I'm not very good, my presentation is woeful, but there's so many different elements to it. There's the creative side of it, there's the social side of it, isn't there? And it's like, no matter what level you are, everyone can do it, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many layers to it, and you can't go wrong. And it doesn't matter how experienced you are at cooking, you can always make something. And you just learn as you go, take inspiration from other places, and just don't be afraid to fail, because it takes time to get something right. And there's plenty of dishes that I've made that are absolutely terrible. But you're never going to get the same dish twice exactly 100% the same. So I guess just be creative with it and let it happen, and you can use it to really express yourself.
And it's great what you've created in your Simple Life kitchen as well. We'll come on to that in a few moments. But today you're going to be doing three courses for us, aren't you? Or three meals for us today, or 3 dishes today, aren't you? What's the first dish you've done for us today?
Yeah, so today we've got a take on a traditional breakfast Benedict with a slight twist. So we've got slow cooked pulled beef that's been cooking overnight in different herbs and spices and flavours. So that's on top of a crumpet. Typically it would be a muffin, but I prefer crumpets because you get more butter out of it, I feel. A poached egg, hollandaise. Kept the hollandaise quite simple for today, but we've just topped it with watercress as well, which pairs nicely with beef.
It looks amazing, and people are listening out going, well, that sounds, you know, as soon as you say Benedict, people think complicated, but actually, you've made it look so easy. Like, for example, your hollandaise sauce. What's in your hollandaise sauce?
There's 4 ingredients in the hollandaise. You've got egg yolk, mustard, lemon juice, and butter.
Simple as that. Easy. And the beef. Sorry, your pulled beef. You've been doing that overnight, haven't you, in the slow cooker?
Yeah, but all it really took was 10 minutes of chopping and throwing everything into the slow cooker, and that's what it gives you the next day.
It's incredible. Can I try a bit?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. This is going to sound awful if you've listened to the podcast. That's insanely good. That beef's incredible.
Oh, God.
Works really, and the crumpet as well. Who'd have thought a crumpet would be so good on a Benedict?
Yeah, I think you can just substitute you can substitute a lot of ingredients for different things depending on what you have and is accessible. So I like to change things up.
That is fantastic. That is so good. Do you make that often then at home, or?
I've not actually made that one before. There'll just be variations of it. But yeah, I love a Benedict, but always try and twist it up somehow.
I'm just thinking that's a really nice lazy Sunday brunch kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It's really good. This food can be created in just your normal Simple Life kitchen. It's fantastic. How are you finding the Simple Life?
Oh, really good, yeah. It's dead easy to cook in the kitchen. It's quite spacious, an open plan.
You've got plenty of counter space as well, because obviously, you know, you've got the slow cooker out at the moment, you've got the air fryer on the go, you've got a microwave. There's plenty of room for everything, isn't there?
Yeah, plenty of room for all appliances. Yeah, it's really spacious and nice, and yeah, it just gives you everything that you need. And the fridge as well is really big, so that's definitely super helpful.
And the area and everything, you're really enjoying it living around here?
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a really beautiful estate. It's a new build. Moved here 2.5 years ago, and yeah, it's no problems at all. It's been really good. Everything local that you need. It's got a couple of pubs around the corner, which is crucial. And yeah, it's really close to Leeds, Wakefield. It's ideal.
Do your neighbours know you're a good cook?
They might have seen. Well, I don't know if they'll know. Think I'm a good one, but I've taken my food outside to photograph quite a bit, so they might have they might have caught me doing that a few times and wondered what the hell's going on with my tripods and things. But yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really good. Right, so the air fryer's on in the background. What else are you making for us today, Beth?
Yeah, so we've just got a few little side plates coming out. One is little roast potatoes.
I'm looking forward to trying those. And what else?
We also have spiraled smack cucumber. So the cucumber has just been cut in like a spiral shape.
And how have you cut that? What, have you got a special spiral? Is it spiralizer or a...
No. So there was actually a trend on TikTok going around quite a while ago, and it's basically a one-step guide to being able to spiral vegetables and anything you want, really.
Do you use social a lot to pick up tips and stuff?
Yeah, massively, yeah. So use it a lot for inspiration, but just naturally really interested in seeing what other people are doing food-wise. So I'll just find myself sitting there for some time, just scrolling through and checking out what people are doing. What's
the greatest tip you've picked up from social in terms of cooking?
One sort of ties into sort of eating better, which is essentially cooking once but eating twice. So creating a batch meal and then using that for lunch as well, or combining into a completely new dish. Another one would be sort of just allowing yourself to experiment with substituting ingredients and putting in different things.
You've actually appeared on a BBC cooking show as well, haven't you? So you have been on TV showing your skills. What was it?
So it was called Hungry for It, and it was the first series in its form on BBC. It took place in terms of filming a couple of years ago.
So what was the process to get on the TV show then? Because I imagine was it like X Factor auditions, that sort of stuff, but with food?
We were actually messaged through the Instagram page through Buffet from a casting agent who was working on behalf of them and asked if I'd be interested in applying for the show. I thought I'd be a good fit for it. I thought it was spam, to be honest, straight away. We saw the message and thought, nah, there's nothing. But I ended up going ahead and arranging a call, and then there was about 6 or 7 stages after that before it was official that I was on the show. I was invited to be a reserve on the show, So I wasn't actually on the show. I was going to fill in if somebody else couldn't make it. And I went down and quarantined before the show because it was sort of on the back of lockdown. So quarantined in a hotel for a couple of weeks, and it was a few days before the show was going to start where I got the call to say you're in. So yeah, it was a bit of a crazy journey getting to that point. And then we're filming for, from going and filming, it was around a month away.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so it was a great experience.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything. It was fantastic. But yeah, it was my first real taste into what the industry really is about.
Did that put you off more, or you were like, I'm hungry for more, I could really get into this?
Yeah, I think the great thing about it was that it just showed you all the different opportunities within cooking. So there's chefing, there's food production, there's recipe development, there's food photography, and it really just showed you how much is out there. I'd love to be a chef. I do enjoy the kind of relaxed environment of home cooking, but yeah, it did make me hungry to do more, and it really set it for me that this is what I want to do. Each episode was broken into 3 parts. The first part was where you had to cook a dish based on a theme that they set you, which was then judged by Chef KK and Big Zoo and Stacey Dooley. And so they assessed your dish based on this theme. Depending on how well you did on that dish in particular, would then put you into either the top kitchen or the bottom kitchen in the second part. And if you're in the bottom kitchen, you're at risk of leaving, which was then decided on a cook-off between you and another contestant. If you're in the top kitchen, you were in with the chance to win a prize for that episode.
Cool. How did you get on?
All right, yeah, I didn't win.
Oh,
Spoiler.
I'm gutted.
But I did get something really interesting from that, which was my own sauce in Nando's. So that was actually one of the
You got your own
prizes
sauce
for the
in
show.
Nando's?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, so one of the challenges was to create your own sauce that would go well with chicken.
Yeah.
Little did we know that was actually involved in, going to be involved in Nando's. So yeah, created a sauce, and it won, and so I got, for a period of I guess a quarter of the year, my sauce was in Nando's.
And what was in your sauce? What did you call it? Because they've always got the different names.
Yeah,
what was it?
so it was
Beth
called
sauce.
pimenta. No, not quite. No, yeah, it was called pimenta, and it was bird's eye chilies. The chili that Nando's use. Okay. So I needed to incorporate that into the sauce. Right. But knowing that it's quite garlicky, citrusy kind of sauces anyway, I thought, I'll pull together some Turkish-inspired spices for it, which tapped into the citrus and garlicky flavour and goes really well with bird's eye chili. So we had sumac, pink peppercorns, garlic, lemon juice, salt. Sorry, I forgot.
That's all right,
and the original base was Greek yogurt, but because this had to go into production, the base had to change for that.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. That's really cool. Have you got any sauce still here with the bottle and everything, or?
All gone.
Oh, you haven't kept one to show people when they come round. It's amazing. So great experience though, being on the TV doing a proper cooking show. Then I guess.
Yeah, it was great fun. It was a whole big production. There was 10 contestants, and
wow.
we all became quite close throughout it as well. Particularly close with a few of them as well, which is really nice.
What was Big Zoo like? A big fan of Big Zoo.
Yeah,
He's great.
Yeah, massive personality. Everyone loved him. He just, wherever he was, you knew where he was. He was just incredible.
He's a great chef as well, isn't he? His food's phenomenal.
Really good. Yeah, really good. And I think he actually worked at Nando's as well some time ago. I might be wrong, might have to check. So we've got a spiraled smashed cucumber that's been pickling overnight in soy, mirin, lemon juice with some chili flakes as well. And then we've got a little side of parboiled potatoes that have been finished off in the air fryer for crispiness, topped with parsley and just a little bit of butter. So in this dish, we've got fresh tomatoes that have been mixed in with some olive oil and dukkha seasoning with a little bit of salt and lemon juice as well.
Well, all this looks fantastic, Beth. Thank you very much. Can I try one of your healthy potatoes?
Of course you can.
Now, you did say there's butter on them. While I'm eating this, just explain why they're healthy.
So everything's about balance anyway, and we really believe you don't need to substitute flavour. But butter's not scary, oil's not scary, it's just using it in the right way. The reason why these are more particularly healthy than maybe other typical roast potatoes you've cooked in the oven is that we've parboiled them in chicken stock to infuse the flavour before crisping them up. Once they've parboiled, you allow them to sit, cool down, and then you're essentially twice cooking them by putting them then in the air fryer to crisp.
You do get a bit more of a depth of flavour in the potato with the chicken stock. You can just taste it in the background. I know that sounds really chefy, but do you know what I mean? It's just kind of there in the background. It's really nice.
Yeah, as it's been soaking, it allows time for the flavour to infuse. Alternatively, if you were to put them straight in the air fryer or the oven, that flavour might not get right to the middle.
This is the tricky thing, isn't it? Obviously, everyone's into the healthy eating. You've got to watch what you eat and stuff, but a lot of people sacrifice the flavour and the taste then. How do you get around that?
Yeah, I think there's ways to not sacrifice flavour in cooking, and also I think accepting that butter and oil and things that typically we're taught to think are bad, that they're not bad at all. It's just using them in balance. I'm a big believer in listening to your body, and that will tell you what you want as well. And I think if you just take time to think more about what your body's telling you want, you'll actually probably go for more healthier options anyway, because your body wants the natural ingredients as well.
Okay, so in terms of like listening to your body, what does that mean? Like, because obviously your day job is working in a gym, isn't it? So you know a lot about this. So when you say your body's it just wants healthy. How can you tell?
I think we've always got a lot of things going on around us, a lot of distractions and things that might confuse us to think we know what we want when really we're not actually taking the time to know what we want. Things will go past, say, a fast food vendor and we'll think, oh, we want that, but your body may not really want that at the time. It's just that impulse that is encouraging you to go. So just take 5 minutes, have some water, just really think what you want to eat, and take time to do that instead of rushing, and not that you regret it, but just taking time to think what you really want and going from there.
That happens all the time because we are all led by our stomachs, aren't we? It's like, I'm hungry, I need to eat now, but obviously what you're saying is just have a drink of water, just take your time.
Yeah, you don't need to rush the process, but at the same time, I'll eat fast food, and my body's not a temple, and everything in moderation, and you should enjoy yourself with it as well. So it's really good to limit food waste by checking what's in your fridge and your cupboards and making sure that you're able to incorporate things that you already have instead of buying things that you've already got.
See, food waste is a big thing for me. I really don't like throwing food out, and you see it quite a lot. So are there any good ways, obviously checking the sell-by dates, but if you're doing a big shop, you might not get around to using that piece of chicken, for example, or that fish. So any good tips?
Yeah, a couple of things. I think trying to incorporate your meals into different dishes. So you might be bored of a meal that you've made and not want it again later on or the next day, but taking the time to think how else you could change that dish to make it different and taste different will help to limit food waste. Also, we're actually trying to put together a bit of an itinerary of what's in the fridge and the cupboard so that we know when things are going out of date. And there's all sorts of apps that you can get on your phone that will allow you to actually input that and set reminders and things like that. So it takes time to do, but very much worth it when you're actually doing it.
Yeah, and obviously saving money and limiting waste, which we don't want. That's a really good idea. Yeah. And in terms of meals, like we all get stuck in a rut of cooking the same things, either buying the same things, cooking the same things. I read not so long ago about Victoria Beckham. She's only ever eaten the same meal for 20 years or something, which was, I think it was steamed chicken or steamed fish and rice and vegetables. That's what she's eating the same. Wow. I think David Beckham said.
Yeah.
So how do we stop being like Victoria Beckham? How do we shake it up?
I think everyone's different and everybody's got different tastes. Not one person's the same as the other, and I think it's another thing about time and just taking the time to really know what you'd like. I'd always try and encourage anybody to try something different, even if they're scared of it. There was something Anthony Bourdain said. He basically said that The best food is the most riskiest food as well. So it might not be, it might scare you, but actually what you experience trying that thing can blow your mind, and actually you find that you really do like it.
Do you think people are afraid of food in this country?
I've got experience of that in my family. So my dad is a very sort of picky, fussy eater. My mum's not. So she'll adapt how she cooks to suit him. So she'll kind of sacrifice herself and the flavours that she wants to make sure that when she's cooking the meals, because she tends to cook, he doesn't know how to cook, that it's sort of accommodating him. My sister's similar, but she will actually try different things. But then again, my uncle, who's my mum's brother, he tries everything, he cooks everything, and you can see it just within your family, the different kind of taste that people have, and people that are more willing to try different things, people that aren't. I mean, when I was younger, I was a bit scared of trying new things, but now it's not at all.
Yeah, it's and I think people miss out, don't they, on so many different flavours. Like you say, like you just mentioned earlier, people might miss out on things they will actually really enjoy and really, really love. It's it's how do people change, do you reckon, then? How do they get that confidence? Is it going out for meals, or is it the other half, force feeding?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think just start small. Try something relatively close to your comfort zone that's outside of it. So whether you feel you don't like much seafood, but say you just like fish and chips, for example, well, try it not battered, and then try move on to shellfish, and then just work through it that way, as opposed to going from eating fish and chips to having an oyster. Just go from the haddock, your cod, to then trying something more
sea bass.
Sea bass, John Dory, just something that's different to what you usually have, but still within your, you've tried fish before, it's just a different kind of fish.
I just wanna pop, turn around, and I just wanna pop, turn around, dance. I just wanna pop.
So Beth, you've just brought out the final two dishes you've prepared for us today. What have we got? They look phenomenal. If people eat with their eyes, this is amazing. What have we got?
Oh, thank you. This one was quite fun. So both dishes have the same base, but with a slight variation. So they both have butter bean hummus. So we're just substituting the chickpeas for butter beans. And the pink one is beetroot as well. So we've put a bit of beetroot in the butter bean hummus to make it that pink. You only need a little bit, and it completely transforms the colour. Here we've got the hispy cabbage on the butter bean hummus with a garnish of sumac and black sesame seeds, with harissa paste on the cabbage itself.
And the cabbage has been roasted in the oven?
It has, right? Yes, yeah. Different ways you can do it, but roasted this one in the oven.
Just simple, it was just raw. All you've done is coated it with harissa paste in the oven. 20 minutes, something like that?
Bit of spray oil, harissa paste, straight in the oven, 20 minutes.
And we were talking earlier about making meals go further. It's the beef you used on the breakfast course earlier, I'm noticing.
It is, yeah. So
this is on a separate dish.
Beef, separate dish. Beef and beetroot pair quite nicely together, so I chose the beetroot hummus for this one, with a garnish of feta, pomegranates, and also black sesame seeds. But it is the same beef as earlier. Right,
let's try it then. Do you get nervous at this point, Beth?
What, when you're about to try it? Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
It's the only time, really. I don't. It's a calm and relaxing thing to cook, but it does a little bit.
And that cabbage is so sweet. And with the harissa paste, it's that's so good. That's fantastic.
Oh, great.
That's really good.
Okay, I'm relaxed now.
Honestly, that's phenomenal. Really nice. Good. Right, shall we move on to the next one? So this is just the beef and the pomegranate, feta, and the... Amazing. That is so nice. Oh, so simple, that. Who'd have thought cabbage could taste so incredible? Whenever you think of cabbage, you think like your nan used to make it, but that's incredible. It's so good.
Glad you think so. Yeah, I just love experimenting with things and taking simple things and making something different with it.
And obviously, people think, oh, you have to have meat with every meal. Obviously, if you're vegan and vegetarian, you probably already know this. But, you know, to jazz up a cabbage like that is just incredible.
Yeah, I think so. I think you don't need to throw everything at it, just taking some simple ingredients and stretching it and trying new things. And it's sort of just appreciating the vegetable for what it is.
And if you're on a budget as well, cabbage, obviously buy a harissa paste, that will last a long time. And then, you know, you can buy a shop bought hummus, you can make your own hummus like you've done, I suppose. It's a great meal.
Yeah, and it's really fun to do as well.
Yeah, and we had the beef at the breakfast course at the start, and you've used it again. It tastes completely different. Amazing.
Yeah. Trying again, just trying different things and seeing what we can do with it. Just take quite a lot of inspiration from the other food blog pages and traveling and different restaurants and things, and yeah, try and bring them back home and try things in the kitchen.
Amazing. So let's talk about comfort foods, because we all have our favourite comfort food. As soon as you say that, you get images of sausage and mash and things like that. What's your comfort food?
There's quite a lot of dishes that I would class as comfort food. A big one is a lasagna. Typically would have that at my mum's though. She makes a really nice hearty lasagna. So that is definitely something that would be a big comfort food dish for me.
And why do you think food is comforting? What's the emotional connection, do you think?
Yeah, I think my journey with food, although I've absolutely loved food from being a kid, it's not always been the easiest one. After I stopped swimming, I had quite a bad relationship with food where I'd punish myself for eating too much or the wrong things, and I'd be really harsh on myself. And since I've allowed myself to be okay with myself and what I eat, my relationship with food has been absolutely incredible, and there's no dark cloud over it or anything like that anymore. I think with food, and what everybody can get with food, is a connection with people. I think that sharing food gives you such a lovely feeling that you're sharing an experience together. So I think allowing yourself to, whether it's trying different things, eating with somebody else, being creative with food, trying something different, you can experience a lot through that itself, and everybody needs to eat.
Yeah. Exactly. And I suppose for you, if you have been through dark times with food, I guess now you're cooking, it's like you've fallen back in love with it all over again, I guess. But even more so because of what you're doing and the creative side of it.
Yeah. When I was in that darker place, I'd never think that I'd be able to have something like a food blog, because it would just be I'd be wrapped up in it, and I'd be overthinking. I'd again, like I said, I'd be punishing myself if I was eating too much or the wrong thing. And so since that's all changed and I'm in the best place I've ever been, food is just, it's the pleasure, it's fun, it's comfort zone.
Yeah, and I can tell today, like, we've been in your house, we've been in your kitchen, you've been a joy to be around, you know, your energy for the food and your creativity, it's been fantastic, it's been so nice. So thanks for having us around your home today. It's been fantastic.
No, it's been great fun. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm although a little bit nervous for you to try the food and if you didn't like it, but yeah, I'm really happy that you enjoyed it.
Because that's the thing, when you put it out on your blog, it looks amazing, but nobody can eat it, can they? Yeah. So for us today to be like, oh, go on, we'll try that. No, it's something different, and that's something you don't get through the page. So yeah, I'm really grateful for you having me on today. So can we talk about desert island dishes and death row meals? What would be your death row meal? What would it be?
It's so hard to narrow it to one.
Come on,
if I could give one, it's one that I actually had at a restaurant that is unfortunately no longer here. But it was ramen, tonkatsu ramen, and just the way they made it was like nothing I've ever tasted before. If I could have that, I'd be happy.
And that is so sad when your favourite restaurant goes.
Yeah, it's so sad. Yeah.
Have you tried to recreate it at home?
Yeah, it's not the same.
And what would be your ultimate ingredient? You've got one ingredient, you're on your desert island. What ingredient, that one thing do you take with you?
It probably wouldn't help me in any way but hot sauce. Just hot sauce.
Well, you could catch
A load
a
of hot
fish,
sauce.
couldn't you? You
Yeah,
could catch a
yeah.
fish, bit of hot sauce.
Cure it in
on
hot sauce, it'd be absolutely fine.
And people listening today who have been inspired by it, because there's a lot of people who like say, oh, I need to get into cooking, need to do more cooking, need to move away from the takeaways and the convenience food. If people have been listening today and they've been inspired by it, let's help people out. Some good places to start. Cookbook recommendations, first of all.
Ottolenghi's Test Kitchen would be high up on the recommendation list. It's all about using what you already have. And as we've talked today, putting things together that I guess you wouldn't think of, but they go, and it's using things instead of wasting them. So Ottolenghi Test Book would be the one.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier when you were cooking, when you were talking earlier, you're talking about a flavour this is hard to say, a flavour thesaurus. What's that?
Yeah, so something that I find fascinating to read is the flavour thesaurus, but it's also really helpful when putting dishes together. So it's essentially a book with a wheel, and within the wheel it's got all your different types of food, and outside that it's the as food categories, and then it'll list all the different food within there, and then each page will tell you what ingredients go well with that item. So you could have broccoli, and then it'll tell you what goes well with that. You could have lime in there, and it'll list all the things that pair really well with it. For example, cumin and lime might be something that you don't think to put together, but actually it works well if you burn a lime and cumin. It adds really nice flavour. So it just shows you things that you wouldn't know already and allows you to use that in your cooking.
And this is science-backed, is it? Or is it just some great flavour, is it?
Yeah, it's science-backed. It's just pulled together from all different areas of the world as well. And there'll be stories within this thesaurus where it tells you how it originated as well. For example, the peri chili, bird's eye chili, originated from Madagascar, and it tells you about how that all came about into the Nando's and the journey of that. So it tells a story as well as helping you build your knowledge.
Really interesting. And again, going back to people who've been inspired today, some ingredients, some utensils. What do you need to do to get started in the kitchen?
Have a good frying pan.
Yeah.
Is really key. We actually spent too long without a good one, and we can tell a difference now that we have a really good one.
Knives, chopping boards.
A good knife, a really good knife will help your precision with your chopping. It'll help with your speed, and it's just a lot more fun to use than something that's not as good quality.
What's essential in a store cupboard to start off?
Storage is hugely important. We've actually got little racks to put all the spices that are overflowing out of the cupboard. I think regardless of what size cupboard we had, there'd always be stuff overflowing.
Yeah.
Good key ones. I think, the acid, heat, salt, fat, just having the basics of each of them will really help. So having good salt, having variety of citrus in your fridge, having variety of, if you like chilies is great, and butter. They're essential things to get going, and everything else you just add into.
And it's not just you, Beth, is it? It's Kirsty as well, your other half, who you work together on the food.
Yeah, absolutely. It wouldn't be a thing, obviously, without Kirsty. It's both of us very much. I do more of the food and the cooking and photos, but Kirsty does everything else, really, including all the text and writing, and you got a good eye for it as well.
Yeah, I'm useless in the kitchen though, so it works well.
I was going to say, who's the best at cooking? So you just let Beth do her thing, and you just...
Yeah, I think I peak at salmon and rice.
There's nothing wrong with that. Victoria Beckham would love that. She loves fish and rice. That'd be amazing. That'd be good. So yeah, you've been working whilst you've been upstairs. You've been sent to the bedroom, haven't you, while we've been doing this today? So, but Beth did say, Kirsty, when you're upstairs, that you do all the cleaning after. And
Yeah, I've mastered the dishwasher.
And you're loving living in the Simple Life house, yeah? You're loving the Simple Life?
Yeah, it's great. So we got together just before lockdown. So the first lockdown, I was in Manchester, Beth was at home. Second lockdown, I moved in with family. And then after that, we got the Simple Life home, so it's kind of nice to like see how that's evolved with the food page. So
fantastic. So yeah, it's all happened at the same time, and it's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
First time properly together doing the page, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any arguments over it, or is it harmony?
No.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest thing is probably like juggling it on top of like work.
Yeah.
So it was a lot easier during lockdown because Beth was on furlough. So I was typing away, and then she's just like creating things all day, every day. Now it's obviously like we're trying to squeeze it in the evenings and stuff, and it's kind of expectations versus what we can do. So.
And how many times do you post and upload? Is it weekly, every couple of days, or longer?
Trying to get more regular with it and try and get into a habit of like maybe every other day. But at the minute it's sort of more as and when, but try and do it as much as possible.
Yeah. And I suppose it's hard as well. You've got to try and better yourself each time, haven't you? You know, it's tough.
Yeah, I think people know what buffet's all about, and it's kind of like experimental stuff and like big flavours and like plates and stuff. So yeah, I guess it's a challenge to keep doing it, but
we're not going to see beans on toast anytime soon.
No, we definitely have stuff like that though, but no, not on the page. Not on the page.
Not the page.
We'll keep that here.
Just have a side page, shouldn't you? That's what you need, like we can't be bothered page. If we did do a side page, are there any disasters? Because the food looks incredible. We've tasted it today. It is amazing. Obviously, it can't all be perfect, can it?
No.
Come on, let us into the secret. Anything gone wrong?
I guess the most recent thing was actually today. As we were prepping for this, I couldn't find something in the cupboard, so got Kirsty to help me, and you reached up for something and pasta was everywhere the next second. So yeah. I know where things are in the house, but kind of clumsy. Like, that's what happens when your cupboard's too full. In terms of like dish disasters, sometimes it like misses the mark. So we made this kind of like, I'm gonna call it like a pancake stack, like a savoury pancake stack. It's horrible.
And it was topped with like I don't know, like crumbly bits of bacon and chorizo and stuff, and it was absolutely drenched in oil, and like it looked really good, like photogenic wise, like it looked like a kind of like dressed cake, but it tasted horrible. It's like
Not good. No.
You see, when I make bad food, it's like I'm still eating it, even though it's horrendous, and like make the family eat it as well. They're like, "This is horrible. I'm not wasting it." But I suppose because you're like creating it, it's like, well, you can just start again.
Yeah, I think it's just from being experimental. It's going to happen. It's not always going to be good.
Exactly. I'm sure Heston Blumenthal and the big dogs, I'm sure it's happened to them as well, hasn't it? So,
Yeah.
well, keep on going anyway.
Lovely.
Well, thank you so much, Beth, for inviting us into your Simple Life kitchen. It's been brilliant to see you at work, see the creativity, all from your Simple Life kitchen, which, you know, the dishes you'll be able to see, the dishes we've tasted have been phenomenal. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It's been great to have you here, and thank you for trying the food, and I'm glad you liked it.
And if people want to follow your journey with the food blogging, what's the Instagram again? And
the handle for Instagram and TikTok is Buffet the Vampire Slayer. Buffet as in food buffet.
It's genius.
Yeah.
It's genius. And you are genius as well, Beth. Thank you so much. It's been brilliant today.
No, thank you very much. It's been great.
Thanks again to Beth and Kirsty, aka Buffet the Vampire Slayer, for all of the culinary inspiration on today's programme. We've shared Beth's recipes on the Simple Life blog at simpelifehomes.co.uk. They are well worth checking out. Join me next time when we invite our charity partners Embassy back on the Simple Life chat to find out how things have progressed since last year.